It's time for the final round with Team Calm Morning Wind. 200 wins, hopefully. Let's see how it goes. I will do another voiceover here, I think. So I will see you in the last battle, I think, which I will do live. As I've done before, except last time where I forgot to stop talking at the first battle. But yeah, I'll see you at the end. Alright, it's voiceover time. For the last time, for this team at least, for now. Who knows, maybe it changes in the future. This was another very slow round. And we start off with a very slow first Pokemon, Crobat. This one outspeeds Moltres, so I can't stall with Moltres. Which means we're gonna have to do most of our stalling with Skarmory here. Although after a little while I realized I can do some stalling with Moltres, mostly the Confuse race. Because I know if Skarmory is not confused, it's gonna get confused, right? Luckily we did not die to a lot of confusion and getting crit a bunch of times. We do get crit a bunch of times, but not too many in a row. Here I start using the Moltres. But yeah, I basically just have to stall everything with Skarmory, because Skarmory takes no damage. It's Sludge Bomb, Aerial Ace, Shadow Ball, Confuse Ray with Bright Powder on this Crobat. And it deals some damage to the Moltres. Well, mostly it's the Sludge Bomb that I'm afraid of. I don't want to get poisoned. Shocker. So this is gonna take a while. I put the video on 4x speed, because this is probably the longest round I've played, or at least the longest first 6 battles. Because it took me like 2 hours 15 minutes before I got to the last battle. And that one I recorded live. So yeah, we're just waiting for this to run out of PP. And yeah, it takes a while, which that's pretty much the thing with this team. Things take a while, at least some of the time. It depends on our opponents. In this round we had a lot of Pokemon that we had to stall. There were a few moments where I could have played a little bit differently and it would have been a little bit faster. But yeah, not here. This is a Dragon Dance Kingdra. And I don't really want it to set up. It's Double Edge, Ice Beam, Dragon Dance Rest with a Chesto Berry. But it's also Calm Mind Blissey. So that can also set up. It is Focus Band, Ice Beam, Calm Mind, Counter, Softball, Blissey. And what I decided to do is set up my own Blissey and hope that Kingdra is the second Pokemon, so I can just kill it immediately. Although it doesn't really matter. Kingdra was not the second Pokemon, so we had to deal with the Blissey first. But I'm already set up, and even if I wasn't, I'm a Blissey. And Moltres is also faster, so it doesn't really matter too much. But we're gonna be stalling out the Blissey because it has soft boiled. Our own Blissey isn't strong enough to break through another Blissey, even at +6. At some point we're gonna get a crit and we're gonna do a little bit over 50% with a crit at +6. So yeah, there's no way I was breaking through this, so I'm just gonna stall. Make it run out of ice beams. And once it's out of ice beams, I'm gonna burn it. And then I'm gonna Whirlwind it, I think. No, wait, that was a different battle, I think. I've faced 2 Blissies this round. Both were Calm Mind. But they weren't the same set. So yeah, we're just waiting for it to run out of ice beams. Then I'll switch out, burn it, and set up again. Because if I had to... Well, I guess I could have Whirlwinded it. And then Whirlwind it back. But I do risk getting frozen in that case. So here it's out of ice beams, we burn it. I waste a couple of turns, or... Yeah, I waste a couple of turns. Decide to heal up the Skarmory. The Will-O-Wisp were also just to buy some leftover turns. And here I could have... so the Skarmory is still asleep, which means it can't be frozen, but it will wake up next time it acts, so that's kind of nice. And here I could have switched around a couple of times just to not waste PP, because I'll be fully set up earlier than it runs out of soft boils, but we have a lot of hidden powers, and we have a Leppa berry, so it doesn't really matter. You can see, oh, I attacked at +4, I think. Wanted to see the damage. Or I was hoping maybe I could make it softball a turn earlier. But I did so little damage that it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, it has run out of counters and it's already +6, so it's just spamming softball now. There's the crit and it heals back pretty much everything. But we'll get there eventually. Now it's Calm Minding. The burn really helps. If it wasn't burned, this would take so long. Like even if it would start to struggle, it will do nothing. And then we needed, I think we needed to be +6 to one-shot the Kingdra. Like +5 it was a roll. Alright, on to the next trainer. Youngster Jackson with a Glalie. Hello Amaryllis. This is Leftovers with Ice Beam, Earthquake, Crunch and Shadow Ball. So once it's out of Ice Beams, it's not really dangerous anymore. And one thing I should mention, I have talked in a bunch of videos about how I don't understand how the AI works. Sometimes they just pick seemingly random moves. And so last week, within 24 hours, 2 different people told me why. And the thing is, when the AI runs out of PP on its highest damage move, then it's gonna start randomly selecting a viable move. It doesn't know what the second best move is, so if you're not immune to its other moves, it will just randomly select between them, pretty much. And with that knowledge, we can play very differently. And this team becomes a lot more consistent. I think last video, like the last round I played, there was a Nidoking that Mega Horned Moltres when it had Stab Sludge Bomb, which obviously is 4 times resisted move versus your Stab move that's neutral. That's clearly the better move, but it was out of, I don't know, some other move that would have been better. So it was just randomly selecting. But I'm not completely used to playing around it yet, so sometimes I could have played around it but didn't. Here I burnt the Glalie, and I maybe shouldn't have. It does allow me to set up more easily, but I could have easily stalled out the Earthquakes because Earthquake is the strongest move against Blissey, so even though it's out of Ice Beams, it's not out of its strongest move against the Blissey, so it will always Earthquake. But it didn't really matter. We were at +5 and +6. Wouldn't have changed anything against Fortress. This is Quick Claw. I don't want to get exploded on. So I go to Skarmory, who can live an explosion. And I hoped with Torment that I could eventually protect on the explosion. But that was not the case. I was hoping it would just use Earthquake Rock Slide until it was out and then I could protect on the explosion. Last Pokemon is Focus Band Shiftry, who also has Explosion. But because this is the last Pokemon, the AI doesn't see Explosion as a viable move. Unless it has no other options. So it's gonna run out completely and then we're gonna protect on the Explosion. There we go. On to the next trainer, who has the second Blissey. Focus Band, Calm Mind, Blizzard, Fire Blast, Soft Bolt. And of course we missed the Will-O-Wisp. We can't hit... There's another miss. And I think we're gonna miss another time, yep. We cannot hit Will-O-Miss, but this Blissey is not gonna miss a single time with Blizzard or Fire Blast, and then the next Pokemon is Blastoise with Hydro Pump, who also isn't gonna miss, of course. Luckily, it doesn't really matter here. I decided to just substitute because I value Protect PP higher than Substitute PP. And also the Blissey could just miss. Or heal, because of the burn damage. And I think we're gonna Whirlwind this. Yeah, we're gonna Scout. Hydro Pump. Obviously we don't want to switch in on a Hydro Pump with Moltres. And turns out this Blastoise has Brick Break, so I don't really want to stall this with Blissey. I go for the Soft Bolt because even if I get crit, it's only 60, 70, maybe 80% damage. So it would have been fine. And we can switch in safely on a potential Brick Break. And now it's out of Hydro Pumps. Mirror Coat and Mega Kick. Those are not dangerous moves. So we just wait. And I think we're gonna scout the last Pokemon. And it's Swampert. And it is Swampert with Earthquake only as its attack. Earthquake, Curse, Rest, Counter. So I'm gonna burn this as well. And then I decide that I will Whirlwind this out. And I'll set up my Blissey and then just kill this when it comes back in. Just waiting for the Blastoise to die first. Then the Blissey will come back in because it sees Fire Blast even though it's out of PP. Or did I not? No, I did burn it. First I burned the Lum Berry. Then I figured, well, it's gonna rest anyway, so it doesn't matter. But then I thought, well, I'll burn it, I'll Whirlwind it out. Oh, I went to Blissey by accident here. It's already a little bit hurt. Which can help. Might not. Doesn't really matter too much. We set up while the Blissey dies to burn. Just like last time. We're gonna crit again, and this time it's after the Blissey runs out of Soft Bolt instead of on the last Soft Bolt. Actually, I think we crit twice, even. So that speeds things up a little bit. But yeah, you can see why this round maybe took a little while. Bunch of soft-boiled Pokemon, bunch of rest Pokemon, bunch of setup sweepers. I had to play a little bit careful. And slow. And there's Swampert. Swampert lives, decides to counter, which works against a hidden power because it's technically a normal type move. Even though it's a hidden power dragon here. And now we've got Altaria, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Flamethrower, Ice Beam with Shell Bell. And I decide to switch stall here. I want to get rid of all the Earthquakes so I can set up my Blissey. And just tank all the special moves. Otherwise I have to stall with Moltres, which I don't really want to do. Costs a lot of HP and PP, and I want to keep the PP in case something else shows up that I don't like and that I need to stall with Moltres. And there's gonna be another setup Pokemon in the back. It's Gyarados this time. So yeah, we were pretty low on HP, but we weren't actually in danger. If we got crit a couple of times, maybe we could have been in trouble. So I'm just setting up not to kill, but just so I don't take any damage. I'm pretty sure I'm using this Altaria to scout again. Gets a couple of crits, but doesn't really matter. Even if it crit a bunch of times, we're fine. We're faster as well, which really helps. We don't have to worry about getting frozen because we can always set up a Calm Mind or a substitute. So now we're gonna Whirlwind. And out is gonna come Gyarados, Dragon Dance, Return, Earthquake, Rest. So it's not super dangerous. The only move that can hit Skarmory or Moltres is Return. It's just gonna take a long time because it has Rest, it has Dragon Dance. We need to be careful. In comes Jinx. It's Lum Berry, Ice Beam, Psychic, Lovely Kiss, Fake Tears. Trying to figure out how do I deal with this. We get frozen immediately. Luckily we have Natural Cure. We switch into Moltres on a Fake Tears. Doesn't really matter. The substitute would go down anyway. Both Ice Beam and Psychic are 10 PP, so it will be easy to stall. And then Lovely Kiss doesn't work through a substitute, so at that point we're safe. Critical hit doesn't matter. I mean, it would have one-shot us if we didn't have the substitute. But we do. And now I'm just wasting time to kill the Jinx. I decide to switch in the Skarmory on the last turn. And now we're gonna stall out this Gyarados. Luckily, it doesn't deal that much damage even when it has a couple of boosts. That was +1 and did 28. That's nothing. So we can just waste some time. It's even going for Earthquakes because Return is resisted and there's some bug with immunities if you're a double type. And if you don't have any moves that actually deal decent damage, then Earthquake can be picked against flying types. Or at least some flying types. I'm assuming that the Steel type here and the Fire type on Moltres, which of course are hit super effectively by ground, they have some effect. I don't know how common it is if your secondary type isn't weak to ground. But yeah, here I figured if I Torment, then it can never set up too many times. Even if it crits me with returns, I'm just not gonna die. So I Torment, then I Rest, and that burns a bunch of PP on the Gyarados. And luckily this is the old struggle where in Gen 4 it deals 25% of your HP. To prevent infinite stalling like I had with the Chansey. But here it helps me that the Altaria isn't automatically dying to recall. It's gonna take a very long time. So we can just use it for our stalling. Get rid of any boosts. But if it was Gen 4 recall, then we could have probably stalled it out with using the Jinx. Because Fake Tears had a lot of PP. We got pretty low due to some crits, but not low enough. But yeah, it does take a while stalling like this. And that's why I definitely wouldn't recommend using this team unless you are ready for this kind of stuff. Because it takes a while. And like the last battle, or the last couple of battles, I was starting to lose my focus. Like when you're doing this for 2 hours or more, it gets pretty tough. But the team is overall pretty safe most of the time, so it doesn't matter too much. I was just starting to lose count of PP, that sort of thing. So yeah, struggle. Doesn't really matter if I set up or not. I decide I want to one-shot the Altaria. I don't know how many boosts I needed to one-shot Altaria. Altaria does have like 105 special defense. Okay, on to the next one. Psychic Ingrid with a Registeel lead. It's Quick Claw. Amnesia, Ancient Power, Explosion counter. I didn't realize how many Amnesia sets there were at the start, so I was just... I thought it was a different one until I saw the Ancient Power. I was like, oh wait, this could actually kill me with Explosion. So do take a little bit of a risk, but at full HP it's not as likely to explode. But I've seen it before. So I decide to burn this. And here it's 50%, so I figured now it's gonna explode, and it did. And in comes Metagross, and we know it's not Quick Claw because the Registeel was Quick Claw. But it's Thunder Punch, which is an annoying Metagross. Because my Skarmory can tank this. Luckily we're at full HP. I do take, I think I misplayed against this guy. I gave it an opportunity to freeze me. Yeah, here. Could have frozen me and I didn't need to do this. Could have just switched. And I want to scout the last guy, which was Mr. Mime with Fake Out, Psychic, Magical Leaf, Reflect and Leftovers. So we can just easily set up on this. The replay is kind of lagging on my end. I hope the video is okay. But yeah, we just set up on this. And eventually it's gonna go down. And I decide to stall it again, this time with some switching. Until I discover that he can't actually break my sub, or not every time. So now I can just go for the burn. And now it slowly dies. So yeah, so far the battle isn't really... The battles haven't been too tough. It's just they've taken a long time because I need to be careful and install them out completely. And this team just doesn't have a way of making progress against a lot of Pokemon unless they're fully stalled out or mostly stalled out. But then the team is specifically designed to stall out pretty much anything. So we're fine. It's just very slow. And this Machamp from Gentleman Gregory is Scope Lens, Rock Slide, Double Edge, Cross Chop, Earthquake. Which means as soon as it's out of double edges, it won't be able to hurt Moltres or Skarmory. Which means it's another Pokemon we can just use to scout. And the next Pokemon is going to be Lapras with Horn Drill, Sing, Sheer Cold, Attract, and a Quick Claw. So luckily, we have a Skarmory. Skarmory is sturdy, so this Lapras can do nothing. We just barely managed to stall out the double edges. Here I'm double checking my PP. With the PP I used, and then I know how much PP the Machamp used. But yeah, here I Whirlwind it out. And I run into Sing Lapras. It's gonna hit quite a few Sings, but that just means I save PP. It attracts me as well. Saves even more PP. Not that that ends up mattering. But we are gonna be here a while because I cannot switch until it's out of all its Horn Drills and all its Sheer Colds. And because I'm immune to the Oko moves, and I'm already attracted, and when I'm asleep, it doesn't have a viable move because they all do nothing. So it's just randomly selected. Until I wake up, then it always selects Sing. And it did torment the Lapras, so it can never go for the same move twice, which can help. Means it can't go for 20 attracts in a row or 15, however much PP attract has. And then finally we have Ursaring and its special Ursaring. Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Crunch with a Lum Berry. So obviously Blissey just sets up on this. We're gonna take no damage except for Crunch Crit, I think, at some point. But yeah, we just set up for free and then we can kill everything. And then we can move on to the last trainer, which is a legendary trainer with a Moltres, which is quite fitting. The last battle. Yeah, now this team has been retired, at least for now. I don't really have plans to use it, but maybe that will change in the future. I want to beat my streak on cartridge, as I've said before, and I definitely won't be getting this team on cartridge, at least not for quite some time. So yeah, there will be some other team that I don't know which one yet. Maybe it will be the Gyarados, Steelix, Dusclops team that I have only used for one round so far. But it doesn't require any legendaries. So that's nice. But it does require Inner Power Flying. But yeah, that was it for the voiceover. Enjoy the last live commentary with this team, and thank you for watching. Alright, on to the last battle. I almost forgot that I needed to record the last battle. This has been a very slow round. Not necessarily very difficult, just very slow. And I'm definitely starting to lose focus. Oh, we finished this off with the legendary Ranger Nelson. And the Zapdos. Unfortunately for you, you're slower than me. Thunder Wave. That makes sense. It wants to be faster than me. Another Thunder Wave. Do I want to PP stall this completely? Like I could. I think I'm fine with just killing this right now. The only way it's double setup. No, there's actually a bunch of ways it's double setup. There's a lot of ways. But the only one I'm afraid of is Dragon Dance. Yeah, I think I'm fine with killing this now. Oh, decides to attack. Another Thunderbolt. Wouldn't mind if you switch back to Thunder Wave. Nope. More Thunderbolts. But that's okay. At least for now. Keeps going for Thunderbolt. Could get annoying. Shell Bell. That means it's Drill Peck, Light Screen. They all have Drill Peck. But I didn't know the Light Screen yet. More Thunderbolts. I wonder what made it change its mind to just only Thunderbolt. probably just complete RNG. Although at this point, with low HP, it might actually change the AI. I missed one time what it did. So I'm not sure, it might have gone for Thunder Wave that one time. So either it's out now or it has one more. Would be nice if it's out. The timing would be quite good. Thunder Wave, okay, I think it's out. Oh, actually, I know why it's Thunder Waving. When I say, or Thunderbolting, it sees a kill, of course. My brain is cooked. This round took over 2 hours to get to this battle. But this worked out perfectly, we're almost full HP. Next is Suicune. What does Suicune want to do? It could be Suicune 2, of course. They would just burn this. Either I PP stall and then I Whirlwind to see if the last Pokemon is Dragon Dance. Let's see. Let's just start off with a Protect. Double team. Okay, this looks like Suicune. Is it 2? Or am I thinking of Meganium 2? Suicune 2. Yeah. Well, there is a second one that also has double team, so it could still be a different one. Okay, it's definitely Suicune 2. The Toxic Protect. And Dive. So it doesn't have Rest. This one can't really kill me. So I'm gonna already Whirlwind this out. We have Protect, so we can never be hurt by Dive. Another Protect. Another double team. More double teams. As expected. It can't toxic me. Okay, we hit the Whirlwind and Moltres. Moltres mirror match in the last round with this team. Or the last battle with this team. What do you want to do? Overheat? Yes. Another overheat because it sees a kill. White Herb. And it also went for Protect. Interesting. That means it's Aerial Ace, double team. Okay, 2 double team Pokemon. But that's not the kind of setup I'm really afraid of. I'll just stall this out eventually. Maybe I should switch to Skarmory so I can bait out the last overheat. It doesn't really matter. Wait, no, I need to save my Will-O-Wisp for the Suicune because it has pressure and double team. And it has leftovers. So if I miss all my Will-O-Wisp, it's gonna be annoying. There's the last overheat. Now it's at -2 special attack, but it doesn't have any other special moves. Aerial Ace. It's not gonna deal any damage. Let's see if we can kill the Suicune first. Okay, we hit Whirlwind. We can switch without having to worry about Toxic because Skarmory is immune. So the AI isn't gonna go for Toxic. Double team. Not surprising. I could let it set up to +6. And then Will-O-Wisp after. And for Protect. It's also a reason to maybe wait. I'll use 1 or 2, maybe 3, and then I'll start stalling out. Okay, we hit immediately. That's nice. Let's see if we can set up the Blissey here. Nope. Went for the Toxic this turn. So we're gonna go to Skarmory. And then next time we know we're not switching in on a Toxic. Double team again. Maybe I should try to Whirlwind so that we'll spend more time double teaming instead of going for dive. Don't know if that really matters. Protect doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's not like dive is gonna do a lot of damage to the Blissey. And it's gonna get time to set up to +6 anyway. Oh no. How fast is this Suicune? Actually, let's just set up the substitute. Yeah, we do outspeed, okay. So even when Substitute breaks, I don't have to worry about the Toxic. And now we just wait for Suicune to slowly die while we set up the +6, and then hopefully we take down the Moltres pretty quick. But it doesn't have leftovers, so it can never stall us out completely. Even if we miss every move, it's going to die to struggle. We're not going to repeat the Chansey incident. Dive. It's not gonna do much. Probably even with a crit, it's not gonna be close. Well, it might be close to breaking the Substitute, but I don't think it will break the Substitute. No crit, so we won't find out yet. Protect doesn't do anything. And yeah, that's gonna be the end for this team. For my first serious team, I think it performed really well. It's very good at what it does. And it works a lot better when you know how the AI works. Which I didn't until like this round. At least how PP stalling affects the AI. More protect. So yeah, if the AI only really cares about its strongest move, and if its strongest move runs out of PP, it's just gonna randomly select a move that isn't like no effect. And I didn't know that was the case. I was just really confused a lot of the time. Like, I think it was last round where Nidoking went for Mega Horn into Moltres instead of Sludge Bomb. There you have it. 203 wins. Now I have over 200 wins in singles and doubles. That's my highest streak. And open level is also not that... Well, 60 wins is still pretty far, but... It's not that far away. But... I'm not necessarily using super serious teams there, so I'm not expecting that to get to 200. Yeah, I'll now start using different teams, including like challenge teams in level 50, so I'll probably lose the streak at some point. But it doesn't matter because I just want to beat this streak on cartridge eventually. Probably somewhere next year. So yeah, here's the team. We started off with Sunrise with Flamethrower instead of Will-O-Wisp, which I still like because you don't miss. I miss Will-O-Miss. I miss that so much. Like, so often it misses. And I think I started off with Toxic. I don't know if I... Yeah, I think I'd Calm Mind Toxic at the start, and then I tried it again in round 21, 22, something like that. It can definitely work. But there's some double team Pokemon like Registeel and Immunity Snorlax that you cannot hit. There's a lot of poison types, there's a lot of steel types. So there's a lot of immunities. But even on the team that I have right now, I think you could just replace... You could switch out the Blisseys and it would still work. But yeah, now we have Will-O-Wisp, which I think is probably better. Because of the only loss I had was, well, it was a forfeit. Because I got stuck against a Chansey with double team leftovers. And after over 24 hours of playing, I still didn't beat the Chansey, and eventually I would have won, but who knows how long that would have taken. Yeah, I needed a lot of really good luck to hit enough struggles or get enough hits and crits. I could never lose the battle because the Chansey didn't deal any damage to me. We both had leftovers. And I just healed back to full almost every turn. So I would have won, but I just gave up. It's also why I have Jolly on this one instead of Timid. So I have a little bit more struggle damage. Never came into play. Probably doesn't really matter. But I did change that because of the Chansey incident. Yeah, Flamethrower, it's really nice. Not just because of the accuracy, but also because sometimes, like, you run into Scizor, Fortress, you just click Flamethrower, they're gone. And with Will-O-Wisp, not only do I have to hit, but then I still have to waste 8 or so turns, which costs PP and HP maybe. So it does cost some resources, but yeah, overall for some of the worst case scenarios, Will-O-Wisp is probably better. And sometimes it is nice because you halve your opponent's attack, which can allow Skarmory or Blissey to tank more. And the Hidden Power Dragon, which is a really weird move, but it just kind of works. And I like it. Yeah, it's that simple. I just liked it. When I started off with Toxic, probably it's not the same now because I'm better with the team. But a lot of the time I would switch to Blissey on a special attacker, and I'd set up Calm Minds, and then like it felt like a waste to switch out of the Calm Minds, but also I often felt like I wouldn't be able to Toxic the next Pokemon, or if I did, it would be bad for me. So I would have to switch out of the Blissey, and sometimes I would try to switch out while the poisoned Pokemon is still alive, which is also kind of risky, not always possible. So I kind of just like this. Also feels pretty good against Latios on Annabelle's team, who has Bright Powder. Of course, I do actually need to hit more, but Moltres just stalls out that Latios anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, it's nice against like Salamence, who might have like Dragon Dance. that switches in and I'm set up, I can just hit Empower, and I think 2 attacks and it dies, and I don't have to worry about it being like Lum Berry or Rest. Is there a Rest Dragon Dance? I'm not even sure. Probably there is. So yeah, that was nice. And the Skarmory just stayed the same the whole time. It just works. We Whirlwind out the dangerous Pokemon. Or we use it to scout if there are any dangerous Pokemon. Torment to PP stall certain moves. And allow us to play around them. Protect, just to waste PP. Rest, because we need recovery, of course. We have recovery on everyone. And they all have a different move. Although Morning Sun and Softball are kind of the same, except Morning Sun has half the PP. And the Leppa Berry, I haven't used the Leppa Berry in ages. I was actually thinking maybe Bright Powder could be good on this Blissey. Because you tank so many hits, you're gonna dodge a couple eventually. Do you really need it? No, not really. So probably Leppa Berry is better. Because Leppa Berry is in some situations really nice, where you need to stall a lot of PP. And you also just don't have to worry that much about wasting your soft boils or substitutes. Although, if you use them like one substitute, one soft boil, well, you usually don't use them like that. So you should probably be fine. Still have some soft boils after running out of, or using the Leppa Berry on the substitutes. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Tickler. I'll probably make a more detailed analysis of the team at some point, but that will take a while. That will be on the other channel. Yeah, so this is goodbye to Team Calm Morning Wind, at least for now. It may reappear at some point. But for now they're in retirement. And I'm really happy with how the team performed. It's really slow. I wouldn't necessarily recommend playing with this team. But if you play it well, which I didn't always do, then there's a very high chance you win. I don't know like how consistent it is. If you can play around like pretty much anything except the worst 10 crits in a row, I don't know, kind of luck. I mean, even the crits often don't matter with this team. But yeah, I think you can play around a lot of things, especially when you actually know how the PP, AI running out of PP, how that affects them. Because a lot of the time I was just confused about which move they would pick. If I was taking a risk when I was switching or not. And now finally in this round I knew, and sometimes it still didn't completely play around it. But yeah, I think this team could get very far if you wanted to, but it's very slow. So I wouldn't recommend it. At least not necessarily. Only if you're like a very specific kind of player who can endure this. Or maybe if you play with speed up, but I'm not really a fan of playing with speed up. And I think you might also lose track of things if you play with speed up, so I'm not sure how well that would work. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time with a different team.